The focus of my practice is asset protection planning, and one of my biggest disappointments is that men are eager to do this when they are thinking about getting married or getting unmarried. I've been very disappointed that women don't protect themselves in the same vein. Before you get married, or even before you start living with someone and commingling your assets, take a look at what they have. Think about what you have, and if Prince Charming or Princess Charming turned into a monster, what would you want to do? What would you want to still have? Okay, so if you're contemplating marriage, or if you're already married, please listen. Take a look at the assets that are yours, those that you've earned or inherited. Even if you're marrying Prince Charming, you want to make sure that if the worst happens and Prince Charming wakes up one day and he or she is a monster, that you'll still be financially okay despite being heartbroken. We need to be financially responsible for ourselves. Educate yourself about what rights you may be giving up by getting married. If you're being asked to sign a prenuptial, make sure you hire an attorney who has experience with prenuptials. If you're having your spouse-to-be sign a prenuptial, don't think that you're home free. We use our offshore trusts as a bulletproof way to protect the assets that our clients have before and during marriage, that they don't want some judge deciding who should get them. Perhaps not our client. If you are making a good income or have substantial assets, I suggest you speak to an asset protection attorney. Okay. Every adult woman should educate herself about her finances, whether she be single or planning on getting married or being married. Let's say you get that Prince Charming and he handles all the finances, because in a relationship, generally one person does handle the paying of the bills and matters related to financial things. But people get sick, they get disabled, and unfortunately sometimes they die unexpectedly. Over the course of my practice, I've seen many women come in who had never even written a check. Of course, these days they would use a debit card or something, but they don't know how to balance their budget at all. And that's very sad. It's important that you take a look at your finances, your assets, your liabilities, those that you go into a relationship with and those that you have while you are in a relationship. Let's talk about when you're married. Another thing I've seen is women who leave everything to their significant other, husband, who gets involved in business dealings. And they just trust that he's so smart that he'll take care of things. He may ask you to sign personal guarantees or documents and say, don't worry, just trust me, sign this. Trust him, but read the document. If you don't understand something, don't sign it until you understand it. I've seen women come in who have signed personal guarantees not knowing that they have signed them, and their spouse has gone bankrupt, or ex-spouse has gone bankrupt, and then they're left with some assets that creditors come after. Don't sign personal guarantees unless you've had advice of your own counsel, not the family's counsel that takes care of him also, but your own counsel, so you know just what you're putting at risk. Oftentimes I've seen men go off and start businesses and use the business as a way of siphoning assets out of the family pocketbook. And they do that often, at least sometimes, as a pre-divorce strategy. Try to get assets outside the marriage before they go to the divorce court. Pay attention to what kind of business your spouse is in. Pay attention to how that business is funded. Pay attention to your own family business. Make sure you read your tax returns and you understand what you're signing. Because if you are signing the tax return, you are going to be responsible for what's in there. Let's talk a little bit about when the dream gets busted and you start feeling like you'd like out of this marriage, or you're concerned that he may be getting ready to get out of this marriage. You want to make sure that you have your own bank account with enough assets to keep you going for 3 to 6 months. If you're a working woman, then you'll be able to add and take care of yourself. But if you're a homemaker, you better have a nice little stash so that you can take care of yourself if he runs off and makes it difficult to share the family assets or even know what they are. If you are going to get divorced, you want to speak not only to a divorce attorney, but an estate planning attorney. Because you're not going to want to die during the proceedings and have your estate go to your to-be ex-spouse, the spouse that you no longer are in a partnership with. You're going to want to change your will. You're going to want to change any trusts that you've established. You're going to want to go back to your IRAs and your 401ks and your life insurance policies and check who are the beneficiaries. And if you've decided you don't want your husband to be, but you want your children, if they're minor children, you're going to want to form trusts that the children are beneficiaries of. Because if you make your minor children, his children, the beneficiaries, and he's going to have control over those assets. That may not be what you want. Again, go speak to a qualified attorney. Never mind what your girlfriends say at the coffee clutch or at the country club. Go speak to a qualified attorney.